Well, good evening, and welcome to this event in our annual lecture series. This event tonight is one of a series of talks that Dr. Sood will be given throughout the year. He is our visiting scholar for this year, and the Visiting Scholar Fund was established at the Institute by Lindy Celine, who many of you I think knew. Lindy passed away this past year. He established this fund anonymously, but I think I would like to recognize him and thank him now that he's passed away. Just what an incredible gift this has been to us, to be able to bring scholars who come for the year and then provide a real benefit to our entire community. Lindy's been a good friend of this university. He was one of the founding fellows of the Reinhart Institute. He was one of the founding members of our advisory council for the Institute and also a longtime board member at Viterbo. And a very close friend. The gift that he gave the Institute to establish this Visiting Scholar Fund came out of a casual conversation that we had 15 years ago. And so thanks to Lindy and to Lindy's family. Our speaker tonight is going to be introduced by Mariah Stadinsky, who's the new student assistant for the Reinhart Institute. Please welcome Mariah.
Good evening. My name is Mariah Stadinsky, and I am the student assistant for the DB Reinhart Institute for Ethics and Leadership. Dr. Sood is a professor of medicine at Mayo Clinic and directs the Mind-Body Medicine Initiative. He is also a husband, father, researcher, consultant, and author. Dr. Sood created the Mayo Clinic Healthy Living Resilient Mind program and has written multiple books, including the Mayo Clinic Guide to Stress-Free Living, the Mayo Clinic Handbook for Happiness, Immerse, a 52-week course in resilient living, and Mindfulness Redesigned for the 21st Century. Dr. Sood received the 2010 Distinguished Service Award, the 2010 Innovator of the Year Award, the 2013 Outstanding Physician Scientist Award, and the 2016 Faculty of the Year Award from Mayo Clinic. He was also honored as the Robert Wood Johnson Healthcare Pioneer in 2015. The Intelligent Optimist, formerly Ode Magazine, selected Sood as one among the top 20 intelligent optimists helping the world to become a better place. In 2016, he was selected as the top impact maker in healthcare in Rochester, Minnesota. Through his work, Dr. Sood is committed to decreasing suffering and increasing happiness. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sood.
Thank you. It's November 8th today, so in this audience, I'm sure many of you would have had birthday in the last few weeks or will have birthday in the coming few weeks. How many of you were born in October, November time frame? Oh boy, so it's about a third of us. So why not start with celebrating your birthday? So I would love for you to sing happy birthday. So stress management, right? So 1, 2, 3, go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear resilient friend. Happy birthday. You. Thank you. So as you can see, I'm from India originally. I've changed a lot of things about me in the last 24 years. But I still have this slumdog millionaire accent that will continue. So anytime I'm not making sense or break into Hindi, please raise your hands. We'll sprinkle questions as we go along. What we're going to do is really talk about brain and how human brain operates, and through awareness of becoming aware of the design of the brain and what struggles we have with this design. So our brain is this phenomenal complex information processor with 86 billion neurons. And these are three main brain areas I'm showing. The prefrontal cortex, which holds rational decisions. So if you, amygdala is the fear center of the brain. It spots the spider in the basement. Hippocampus tells you that it's a spider, and prefrontal cortex says don't call 911 because if there's a spider in the basement, that's not enough to call 911. So you've got rational part of the brain, memory, and fear center. Despite this awesomeness, our brain has some glitches in its design. So let me see if you would like to solve this brain quiz. What is your brain struggling with right now, today, at this moment? Focus, fatigue, and fear. Absolutely. So when you're doing dishes or when you're driving, your brain is not driving. Your brain is doing all that. Right? And your thoughts are going from one to the other. And you're not saying, I have the most wonderful kids, the best partner in the world. How come I have so much more money than I ever needed? The brain is going through all the what ifs, the could have, the should have. An average person has 150 undone tasks at any time. So I was asking a dentist colleague of mine, what proportion of the time your mind wanders when you're working on people's teeth? Guess what was the answer? Sorry? Yeah, pretty high. So he didn't confess to 100%. He did say 80 to 90%. So next time you see a dentist, make sure you sound interesting to them so they pay attention to you. And the same thing happens at work, even though, she looks like she's checked out, she's somewhere else because her mind is all over the place. And I'm sure you've been there. So my colleagues at Mayo in neurosciences department wanted to see how active human brain is at rest when you are not doing anything. They thought the entire brain will shut down when you are resting. But when we looked at the resting scan of the brain, it looked like this. So let me orient you. So each small square is change in blood flow, and what you're seeing is blobs of blue and red that are forming and dissolving. So these are networks in the brain. So our brain is this giant network of 86 billion neurons, and these are organized in two functional modes. The first mode is what we like to call the focused mode. So focused mode is when something interesting is happening, something amusing is happening in your life. All the aha moments, the wow moments. You go to farmer's market, you see an old friend you haven't met in 20 years. The best example of focused mode I always share is my 7-year-old when she does what I like to call pee-pee dance. Pee-pee dance is when she puts her legs together and she's doing like this at a play date or somewhere, and I say, honey, you have to go. She said, Daddy, I don't have to go, but she actually has to go. So what is happening in front of her is so interesting that she forgets her physical body. She's immersed in her experience. So next time at work you're doing pee-pee dance, that means you're really immersed in your activity. Your brain is in the focus mode. So that is the first mode of the brain. It's hosted by a particular network. We don't need to go there. Our brain loves to be in the focus mode. But there is a second mode of the brain called the default mode. So default mode is reading a book. You read half a page. You say, what was I reading? Has that ever happened to you? You were mind wandering at that time. And we're like that 50 to 80% of the time during the day. Why is that? Because our brain does not love to be in the default mode. It is not having the best time. So let me take you to you're 16, you're learning to drive. Would you have appreciated a phone call at that time? No, right? Because you're immersed. But now you can drive and you can sip coffee and listen to music and speed and look out for police car all at the same time. Because you've got so much more residual attention. The same thing happens with food. We barely pay attention and the whole pizza slice is gone. Or brushing teeth in the morning. How many of you spent full 2 minutes this morning brushing your teeth? Full 2 minutes. So that's a pretty good number, 20%. I was asking my Mayo physician colleagues a few months ago, it was 0%. In about an audience of 100. How many of you multitasked this morning while brushing your teeth? Yeah, so pretty busy, yeah, and the same up there. Or you go home and you tell two things to your partner, they look like this, totally blank. because they were somewhere else when you were talking to them. So that is the default mode of the brain. And our brain spends 50 to 80% of the time. Our brain is not having a good time when it is in default mode. Okay, so the first learning point is we spend half our day or more with wandering attention. And I'll keep sprinkling these learning points as we go along. So let me ask you this question, because some of you may be asking that actually I'm doing pretty well when I'm mind wandering. I'm enjoying it. I'm being creative. So it is not all bad. Default mode is not all bad, because you can be creative. You can keep all the balls in the air. You can think about stuff. You can solve complex problems. So the correct answer is all of the above. All of the above are benefits of default. It's just that we are too much in default mode these days because of how complex our life has become. The second question, a good personal approach to handling stress is to just accept what is, decrease mind wandering, or continue catastrophizing. So the answer is decrease mind wandering. You cannot just plainly accept what is. It is what it is can sometimes be annoying. Personal question. What are you missing out in life by spending too much time with excessive mind wandering? So I would like to break for 1 minute, and I would like you to confess to the person sitting by your side, one thing you've missed out in life because of excessive mind wandering. So break for 1 minute, and then we'll come back. Okay, let's come back. I know you just found your BFF, and so this is the first challenge of the brain. I've been trying to study the human condition, studying myself. Why am I not as happy as I can be or should be given my condition and the material condition, the physical condition, and I've realized that there are some vulnerabilities in my brain. The first thing is I'm not showing up for life. I'm mostly inside my head, mind wandering. That leads to the second challenge of the brain, which is fatigue. So with respect to fatigue, here is the biology, here is the summary of it. There is two kinds of organs in the body. There is kidneys. Kidneys are designed to work 24/7. You don't say, I'm going to rest my kidneys from 2 to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. The kidneys are designed to go all day long, but brain gets tired. How long does it take for the brain to get tired if you're doing something that is borderline boring? What do you think? Pretty quickly, it's within about an hour, your brain is beginning to get fatigue, which leads to drop in accuracy and increase in reaction time and decrease in engagement and decrease in performance. It's mathematical. So if you have not chosen to rest your brain by 10 a.m. in the morning, you're going the rest of the day with a tired brain. So it's pretty mathematical and very biological. So I realized that I'm actually living my entire life with tired brain most of the time, and we'll discuss what are the solutions for that. So the second take-home point is our brain fatigues after 60 minutes of an involving task, particularly if it is boring. Question for you. Which of these brain hungers is most easily met in modern times? Rest, uplifting emotions, motivation, and calories. Calories. So our core hungers that are not met are rest. The second one is uplifting emotions, and I realized it only very recently. I was seeing a patient at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was very tired, and my 5-year-old is struggling with constipation for like 5 days in a row or something. My wife sends me a text in the middle of this clinical visit. The text says she did it. I am very happy. I want to get up and do high five with my patient because I experience uplifting emotions. So we need a snack of uplifting emotions every 2 to 3 hours. Keep this in mind. And the third is motivation. Why am I doing what I am doing? This is all within the design of the brain. Brain fatigue is most likely from, what do you think? Neurotransmitter accumulation, low blood flow, nerve cell death. And I have not shared this with you. It is because of accumulation of neurotransmitters. When brain starts working and going fast, it accumulates a lot of dead neurotransmitters. Okay? How many of you feel completely wiped out by 6 p.m. in the evening on more than 10 days in a month? So about 60% of us. So it'll be interesting for you to, I think this will be worthwhile as we go along, the discussion that is going to follow. I was exactly like you. My battery will be down to 4% by 6 p.m. because I had not chosen to rest my brain during the day. So when you go back to the first one, you see rest, uplifting emotions, and motivation. And that is what calls RUM moments, R-U-M, right? Rest, uplifting emotions, motivation. So that's a different kind of RUM though. So keep that in mind. It's not the traditional RUM that you are familiar with. Okay, so this is the second challenge of the brain I realized as I was trying to understand my own angst. The third challenge is shown on this slide. What draws the greatest attention here? Why? Looks out of place, right? It's too big to be there. But how many people die of spider bites in a year? Less than 5. Compared to that, how many more people are killed by donuts? So you go to a party, they have a box of donuts, you've got 20 donuts staring at you. You should run away in fear because they try to kill you by feeding donuts. But we get attracted to donuts because we get attracted to calorie-dense food, right? How many of you recall seeing a police car in the last 1 week? Remember seeing a police car? Why do you remember seeing a police car? Because you were driving, your heart was beating at 68 per minute. You see a police car, you've got tachycardia. Heart rate goes up. 74, 76, and then it settled. Brain says, my owner had tachycardia, rapid heart rate without exercise. I need to remember that. Body doesn't like rapid heart rate without exercise. So we remember moments of vulnerability. We remember people who make us feel unworthy. My neurosurgery colleague, 10,000 surgeries, only remembers the 4 that went bad. That's how we are designed. So there are some threats in the world, a lot of threats in our head. Concerns, fears in the future, hurts, regrets in the past. These are like sumps. They draw attention. You get a call from your physician's office. They leave a message on your voicemail. They say, call me back ASAP. I need to tell you about a test result. You call back, nobody's picking the phone. How is Friday night sleep going to be? It'll be disturbed, right? So how are these created? There is the original issue. And then we think about it. Then we say, I'm not going to think anymore, which makes me think even more. All fueled by awfulizing, worst case scenario. So mind gets filled with a lot of these. They color the present moment. They make life dull. So this is an average Homo sapiens brain. A lot of these in the past predisposed to depression. A lot of these in the future predisposed to anxiety. So the next take-home point is, so what happens to the brain is that the good areas of the brain start shrinking because of this, and the bad areas start growing. And after some time, these changes can become irreversible. So our attention selectively focuses on threat. What do you think? Our focus on fear is always rational, always helpful, always irrational, or sometimes rational, sometimes helpful? Yeah. If you're not sure with me, usually last is the correct answer, just to give you an idea. So you score well. A useful and practical first step to decrease stress is to practice 45-minute meditation, train your attention, or let go of fear completely. What is practical? See, letting go of fear is not possible. I need my fear. to be safe. And 45-minute meditation is also very difficult. So I'll share with you how training attention is the correct answer. So let me put this together. So you step on a nail. What do? Do you dig deeper or do you withdraw your foot? It's a silly question. You withdraw your foot. Turn on the news and there's news of a terrorist attack. What do? Watch more or turn it off right away? Watch more. See, our sensory system is designed to withdraw from pain. Our mind is designed to go deeper into pain. That's a bad design if we want to maximize happiness. But that is our default, our core default. Any questions so far? So I've covered a gist of about 10,000 research studies in developing this basic schematic. So if you don't agree with me, let's argue until you agree, and then we'll go forward. Any questions so far? I can't see you guys very well up there, but okay, well, that's good. So the introspective moment here is I would love for you to close your eyes just for a few seconds and think about the most important people in your life, maybe 3 most important people. And don't feel guilty. It's okay if you have 5 or 10 or 20. Their time will come too. Just think about 3 for now. Okay, so when you have 3 people, you can open your eyes because we will use this information very soon. So what I realized as I was working on my own